I would like to introduce presenter number 2, Jean-Philippe Chaput, who is the Junior Research Chair at the Healthy Active Living and Obesity Research Group, otherwise known as HALO, at the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario. Jean-Philippe will focus on childhood obesity prevention at the individual and family levels.
Weight control is a matter of energy balance, energy in and energy out, but it doesn't mean that it is only exercise and diet. A lot of different factors can influence the energy balance equation, like sleep, like other factors. It is important to look at the big picture if we want to better intervene afterwards. Do we really know the causes of weight gain and obesity? I don't think so. Based on recent studies, it seems that a lot of other factors can influence energy balance and weight gain. Of course, when we talk about the big two factors, I mean here unhealthy diet and sedentariness, which are the two main pillars that are put forward to explain this increased prevalence of obesity around the world. We realize that we have much to learn in order to better address the obesity problem. In 2006, we have published results from a large cohort of children in the province of Quebec, and we have found that the best predictor of overweight and obesity in kids was short sleep duration, with an odds ratio of 3.45. Meaning that short sleepers were 3.5 times more at risk of being overweight or obese compared to average and long sleepers. And this risk factor was followed by other important ones, such as parental obesity, television viewing, socioeconomic status, and physical inactivity. So even here, short sleep duration was a better risk factor than physical inactivity. We also found the same pattern in adults. Adults involved here in the Quebec family study, a large cohort of adults in the province of Quebec. Again, we have found that the loser of risk factor was short sleep duration with an odds ratio of 3.81. Meaning that those sleeping here between 5 and 6 hours per night were 3.8 times more at risk of being overweight or obese compared to those sleeping the optimal sleeping time in adults between 7 and 8 hours. Short sleep was followed by high disinhibition eating behavior as assessed with the 3-factor eating questionnaire. The third one was a low calcium intake. We know that those having low calcium intakes are more fat for different reasons. The fourth one was high hunger behavior, again with the 3-factor eating questionnaire. And after that, we had the big 2 factors. Here, high lipid intake and the absence of a high intensity physical activity. So here again, short sleep duration was more important than diet. So there are a lot of factors that can cause weight gain and obesity. It's mainly an interaction between our genes and the environment, the obesogenic environment. A lot of things have changed over the past years. For example, some factors that can cause weight gain: soft drinks, socioeconomic status, meal size, some chemical pollutants like the organochlorine pollutants have been linked with obesity. Birth weight, lack of sleep, mental stress, energy density, lack of vitamins and minerals, lack of exercise, but also this increase in sedentary behaviors like television, computers, and video games, and some drugs that can cause weight gain like those that we use to treat mental health. And of course, probably many other factors that we don't know for the moment, but that we will discover in the future. Interestingly, it seems that modern sedentary activities increase food intake. They are not only low-calorie burning activities, activities like television viewing, video games, short sleeping, cognitive working, and music listening. They don't only burn little calories, but we eat more when we practice those activities. And we eat more in the absence of hunger, which is even worse because we don't feel more hungry, but we eat more when we practice those modern activities. We can depict the evolution of man like this: the monkey man evolving towards a man highly involved in physical labor, the active man, to the modern man highly involved in mental work or cognitive work with computers. And in fact, we don't really know the implications of this new way of living with computers. And based on recent studies, it is not only a matter of a decrease in the amount of exercise, but it seems that computer-related activities per se have some specific effects that might impact appetite control and energy balance negatively. When we want to address the obesity problem, it is important to look at all levels, not only the individual and the family levels, but to look at the big picture, the whole country too. So what I will discuss with you today, it is mainly on the individual and family levels. Of course, we know that obesity prevention is quite complex and it will require a complex solution too. Living in an obesogenic environment makes achieving a healthy lifestyle close to impossible. It is very difficult for people nowadays to swim upstream in this strong current in this obesogenic environment. Everything in the environment makes people to eat more and to exercise less. So when we want to fight against that, it is very difficult for us to do that. And it is of course easier to tell people to eat less and to move more, but when the conditions are not there, it is very tough for people to do that. And there is strong evidence showing that a change in the environment and conditions of poverty is truly what is needed to tackle obesity at the population level. And we will see. You can see here on the x-axis the per capita gross domestic product, and on the y-axis the body mass index, or if you prefer, the prevalence of obesity. So on the up right panel you can see rich countries like USA, Canada, Australia, and you can see that yes, they have high gross domestic product per capita, but they don't rank very good regarding the prevalence of obesity. But there are two curves here, the blue one and the red one, and we will see more on the next slide what it means. So again, on the top right panel, countries like USA, Canada, UK, Australia, and New Zealand, they all have a high gross domestic product per capita, and they have high prevalence of overweight and obesity. But other countries like the Scandinavian countries or France, Italy, and Belgium, they also have very high gross domestic product per capita, but they rank much better regarding the body mass index of people, mainly because of this low inequality in those countries between rich and poor, what we can call also soft capitalism as opposed to hard capitalism for USA. There is a very nice paper published in 2007 in the Canadian Medical Association Journal about the Canadian Clinical Practice Guidelines. And in this paper, you can find what is evidence-based, the evidence-based approach for the prevention and also for the treatment of obesity in kids, but also in adults. And if you look at grade A evidence, it is strong recommendations, which is a rich body of high quality data. So what can work? And what works, we will see that. So what is A-level recommendations? First, it seems that healthcare professionals should encourage children and teenagers to reduce sedentary pursuits and screen time because they watch too much television and they play too much video games. Also, the activity prescription for children should be fun, and it should be tailored to the strengths of the child and the family. So when it is not fun, when there is no fun for kids, it will not last. And of course, a reduced calorie diet and regular practice of physical activity is recommended to. What can we do? A lot of different things. I think we should encourage or promote evidence-based recommendations because we know from a lot of studies that it can work. What is evidence-based here? We should encourage children to play outside. They are too much inside playing video games and watching television. So this, and of course, it will be even better to replace those sedentary behaviors by more active behaviors. We should remove television and video games from bedrooms. Bedrooms are mainly for sleep, and we know, for example, that having television in the bedrooms can impact sleep quality, which is not very good. We should also limit screen time to a maximum of 2 hours per day. Most of Canadian kids watch television for about 4 hours a day, which is way too much. We should also eat dinner as a family. In this fast pace of living, we tend to eat in front of the television screen, and we know that it stimulates food intake, so that this is not good. Do not eat meals in front of the television for different reasons, because the eater tends to ignore his or her appetite sensation, so this is not good. We should also limit the intake of sugar-sweetened drinks like soft drinks, but also juices that contains high levels of high fructose corn syrup. We should consume more than 5 servings of fruits and vegetables per day. They recommend not to skip breakfast, to encourage breastfeeding, to ensure that children receive a good night's sleep. We know that sleep is very important for body. Finally, I think we should work together to make the healthy choice the normal one or the easiest one, and keep in mind that obesity is not a choice. It is rather a consequence of our obesogenic environment. I don't know any people who wants to be obese, but the main problem is to change our environment. Thank you very much.